Just back to your role sort of as an MEP, what do you make of the current Brexit negotiations going on between Brussels, the EU, David Davis, Michel Barnier and all the rest of it?
A completely expected shambles.
In what way?
To the millions who voted Conservative because they were Brexit, well, they don't play the horses. You judge a horse by its form, don't you? And when you've got a bunch of Remainers or part-time patriots turn up to say, no, trust us with Brexit, well, you know, you're going to get a complete disaster. They never believed in it, which is why we will end up paying a massive bill, which is why it's
What do you think the bill will be?
Don't know. We will pay something.
What do you think it should be?
Nothing. In fact, they owe us money. I was meeting with a port in my constituency today, and we were discussing ways to get grants for that port, because that port is increasing its trade globally. Of course, should I use the media's phrase, despite Brexit, it's increasing its trade all over the world. You know, you're getting multinational companies coming in, taking up residency in a logistics park, creating hundreds of jobs for local people. Of course, I'll be happy if there weren't any 0 hours contracts they were offering, but that's another thing. The good shouldn't be the enemy of the perfect. But when you've got a bunch of people that threw away an election, that don't believe in what they're talking about, it's going to be a mess. But I've got to ask the people who stuck by them, and this is going back to talk about the election. The election became, I'm voting red because the blues are awful. I'm voting blue because the reds are awful. And did people run across minefields and get shot at so that our politics could be debased to that? You know, we did things. We did this in UKIP. We did this in the coalition of genuine Brexit organisations, a Freedom Association, Bruges Group, you name it, that had been out from the beginning. We didn't do this, all this hard work for believing in something, for elections to turn into which colour you're going to pick, and the government to say, oh, well, we've found this, we've got this issue, we're going to pick it up and make a dog's breakfast of it because it might get us 5 more years and a top-up on the pension. It's a disgrace. It is an absolute disgrace. You know, it's not just that. The fishermen are going to be sold out. We could end up in a ridiculous situation where we're still in the customs union, still in the single market. Yeah,
this transition, talk of a transition period. What do you make of that? The fact that we could, 2-3 years after sort of technically leaving the EU, we'd still be inside the single market, customs union, all the rest of it.
Yeah, I've said we could be out of it. You could repeal the act. You could have nothing to do with it, but we could still volunteer to pay in. We could still accept every law that was going. We could still have an open border with them. It's not just, leaving the European Union was always the first hurdle. It didn't make all the policies right. It's still a case where you have to have the right people in power to, get the immigration down, to sort out the finances. We've got 9,000 homeless ex-servicemen. That's a disgrace. That is an absolute shambles. And to think that we're throwing away foreign aid when people who put themselves in harm's way so we can have this discussion now are sleeping rough, it disgusts me.
So if the EU comes back in the sort of broad agreement, but there was a Brexit bill of £30 billion, would it be deal or no deal for Tim Aker?
No. In fact, I'd be encouraging all of my UKIP colleagues to do the protest from Braveheart, where they're given the King's terms and they bare their buttocks at the opposing force, because that's what we should think about it. Absolutely no deal. They owe us money. I'll be happy to pay them nothing and just walk away, but it's been going on now for nearly a year and a half, and they're just dragging it on. They're dragging it on and making the country look like a laughingstock. They're meant to be strong and stable. Well, then say we are your biggest customer. This is all smoke and mirrors. You can say what you like to the European press. We can say what we like, but we actually mean it now. These are our demands. Take them or leave them, because the only ones that they'll have to explain themselves to is the German car market. It's the wine market. It's that which needs us. They need us. And if we were to say, sorry guys, they'll blink first.